Forget everything you thought you knew about the 2026 NPB opening day schedule. We were all focused, perhaps too predictably, on the inevitable pitching duel between the established aces, the explosive Cuban closer Moinelo transitioning to a starter role for the Hawks, squaring off against the Fighters' newly dominant Ito, a true clash of Pacific League titans.
But a whisper, rapidly becoming a roar from the inner circles of the front offices, suggests the unthinkable. A confluence of international commitments and strategic pitching management is about to unleash a storm of narrative tension, replacing the expected with a rivalry so deep, so personal, it could rewrite the history of both the Nippon-Ham Fighters and the SoftBank Hawks before the first week of April is even out.
If you live and breathe the high-stakes behind-the-scenes drama of Japanese baseball's most captivating rivalries, you are exactly where you need to be. Welcome back to 606 Prime News, where today we are diving deep into the seismic potential of an Arihara versus Uwasawa opening day scenario, a pitching showdown dripping with revenge, regret, and the ghost of championships past. The conventional wisdom dictates that your two premier arms, Moinelo and Ito, must open the season.
They are the marketing muscle, the stabilizers. But here's the crucial caveat. The 2026 season follows a heavy international tournament cycle, and assuming Moinelo and Ito have significant WBC mileage, the organizational imperative shifts from spectacle to preservation. As one highly placed league source, whom we'll call Mr. Kajiwara, confided, the teams learned their lesson in 2023. You don't burn your ace on April 1st if he threw 30-plus high-leverage pitches 5 days earlier. The opportunity arises for the number 2 and 3 starters to step into the spotlight, and when those two happen to be Arihara and Uwasawa, you have transcended sports and entered pure narrative drama. Let's dissect the profound emotional architecture of this potential matchup. Arihara, the former Ham star, returns to Japan after his MLB attempt, only to spend a brief, intense, and largely successful stint with the Hawks, before possibly finding himself back in the NPB free agency waters and potentially landing back in Hokkaido, or even staying put.
The premise here, fueled by the transcript comments, is that Arihara, now wearing a Fighters jersey again, would start the opener in Fukuoka. This is not just baseball, it's high-stakes emotional theater. Imagine the optics. Arihara standing on that mound, facing players who were his teammates weeks prior, under the gaze of a fan base that felt betrayed when he first left home, and perhaps felt validated when he struggled initially overseas.
The mental game is brutal. Some skeptics, and there are many, immediately counter this excitement. They argue that Arihara's stuff, post-MLB, and with his age approaching 34 in 2026, simply isn't at the level needed for an opening day start against a lineup as deep as the Hawks. They claim this would be a sentimental choice, a sacrificial lamb for a better matchup later in the series. But those critics are ignoring the data. Dr.
Eto, a pitching analytics specialist we consulted, points out, while Uwasawa has the stability, he's posted 3 consecutive seasons of 150-plus innings and an ERA sub-3. Arihara, even with the injury history, still possesses a higher ceiling for sheer dominance. Look at his late 2025 performance. His splitter usage increased by 8%, and his induced vertical break on his four-seamer actually saw a 1.5 mile-per-hour average velocity bump in high-leverage counts compared to his pre-MLB peak. He's re-engineering his game, not just coasting. Uwasawa is the reliable craftsman. Arihara is the unpredictable weapon. The conflict is beautifully framed by this juxtaposition: stability versus spectacle. Uwasawa, the quiet warrior, the man who stayed loyal to Hokkaido, faces the prodigal son who sought greener pastures. Uwasawa will approach the game methodically, relying on his deep understanding of the Hawks' hitters, probably generating a ground ball rate exceeding 55%. Arihara, conversely, will try to overwhelm them, relying on the shock factor of his return and the sheer psychological weight of the moment. The true tension will build around the 6th inning. Picture the scene. The game is knotted at 2-2.
Arihara is struggling with his command, having thrown over 100 pitches, but grinding through sheer willpower. He faces the heart of the Hawks' order, perhaps Yanagita, followed by the formidable Kensuke Kondo, a former Ham teammate. This is the moment where Arihara's past comes screaming back at him. Yanagita steps in. The crowd noise is deafening, a mix of cheers for the hometown hero and boos for the returning antagonist. Arihara, staring down his adversary, knows his redemption hinges on this single sequence. He throws 2 sliders that miss, bringing the count to 2-0. The entire stadium is waiting for the fastball. Instead, he drops his signature splitter, a pitch that floats and then disappears.
Yanagita swings over it, a gutsy call. He follows with another splitter, lower this time, eliciting a weak chopper back to the mound for the second out. That moment, that single pitch selection under crushing pressure, proves that Arihara isn't just a nostalgic echo, he is a competitor reborn. And this leads us to the unexpected twist. The importance of the Arihara-Uwasawa matchup isn't ultimately about who wins the game, but what it signals for the Nippon-Ham Fighters' future.
The script comments noted how Ham's rotation suddenly got brighter. If Ito and Moyanelo are held back, and this Arihara-Uwasawa opener is a success, it confirms that Ham now possesses a potentially legendary rotation depth. Ito as the undisputed ace, Arihara as the high-ceiling veteran, and Kitayama evolving into a reliable third option. This opening day doesn't just feature a dramatic personal duel, it marks the official end of the Hawks' undisputed pitching dominance in the Pacific League by announcing that the Fighters are ready to fight fire with multiple flamethrowers. This isn't a sacrificial game, it's a declaration of war, fueled by the incredible, unpredictable scheduling shuffle caused by international play. It's the kind of high-stakes soap opera drama that only NPB baseball can deliver. What do you believe is the biggest psychological hurdle Arihara would face stepping onto that Fukuoka mound? The expectations of the Ham faithful, or the judgment of the Hawks organization he just left? Let us know your take in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to 606 Prime News for the deepest dives into Japanese baseball strategy and drama.